She's on the trial. Court's in session on cause number 328070, case established state of Texas versus Crystal Kiara Moore. Ms. Moore, is that your full name? How you doing, Ms. Moore? That's good, Ms. Moore. You're here represented by your attorney, Attorney Don Boudreaux. Attorney Boudreaux, how are you doing?
Just fine, sir.
That's good. And the state is represented by Attorney Tommy Coleman. Attorney Coleman, how are you doing?
Good, John.
That's good. Now, Mr. Boudreaux, what's your announcement in Ms.
Your Honor,
Moore's case?
we haven't been able to work out an agreement. She was working for Jack in the Box. She's accused of taking money and putting it in her bra, but no one is available at Jack in the Box.
No, I mean, so what's your announcement? Is it trial? Is it-
Maybe I'll talk to Mr. Coleman one more time to see if anything can be done. If not, it'll have to be a trial.
So let me ask you to see, you want this on an announcement docket or what? I mean, where?
Well, we'll try to talk to him before we leave today and see if we can.
Okay, so what I'll do is just hold on.
Okay.
Okay. Ms. Moore, you can just go and have a seat. Your attorney's going to, we're gonna call you back up. Okay. Court is in session in two cases, cause number 325, 322, and cause number 325, 324. Both cases are filed in the state of Texas versus William Roundtree. Mr. Roundtree, is that your full name?
Yes.
How you doing, Mr. Roundtree?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Mr. Roundtree, you're here represented by your attorney, Attorney Thomas Mayo. Attorney Mayo, how are you doing?
Good, Your Honor.
That's good. And Mr. Mayo, what's your announcement, Mr.
We're
Roundtree?
ready to go to trial, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay, let's see. Okay, now, hold on a minute. State.
States, we're not ready to proceed the trial. We were under the impression that we didn't have a court order, so we didn't
Okay.
work it up.
Okay, now, and you're aware, of course, policy normally, this is their first motion for continuance, is that
Well,
correct?
Judge, I don't necessarily want to burn a continuance,
Okay.
knowing that we couldn't have tried it without.
Okay, well, let's just hold, and let's get confirmation from our, court coordinator, okay?
Yes, sir.
So we're gonna do, Mr. Mayo, we'll call your case back up in a little bit,
Okay.
so y'all can we'll just put it on hold. see. Jefferson County Court at Law is back in session. Next case is call number 331-404. Case is filed the state of Texas versus Rendon Hightower. Mr. Hightower, is that your full name?
Brendan Sawyer Hightower.
Rendon Sawyer Hightower. How are you doing, Mr. Hightower?
Yeah, but
I'm doing fine, thanks. Mr. Hightower, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Hightower, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God? Mr. Hightower, you may put your hand down. Mr. Hightower, you're here represented by your attorney, Attorney LaRon Dowden or Larry Dowden. Attorney Dowden, how are you doing?
Doing fine, Judge, I'm sorry.
Attorney Dowden, do you waive a record in Mr. Hightower's case?
Yes, we do.
Mr. Hightower, I have before me a document that is titled information. This information was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. This information alleges that on or about September 16th of 2021, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, operating a motor vehicle in a public place, that you committed to Class A misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated with an alcohol concentration level of 0.15 or more. Okay. Mr. Hightower. Let me do this here. To the charge of driving while intoxicated with an alcohol concentration level of 0.15 or more. First of all, do you understand what you've been charged with?
yes, sir.
And to this charge, how did you plead guilty, not guilty, no contest? Now, you're pleading guilty freely and voluntarily? And are you pleading guilty because you were guilty?
I think that paperwork says no contest, Judge.
We did
Oh,
check, no contest.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Sorry about that.
Now, yes, it sure does. Now, Mr. Hightower, to this charge of driving while intoxicated with an alcohol concentration level of 0.15 or more, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, no contest? No contest? Now, are you pleading no contest freely and voluntarily? And are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charges? Okay. Now, Mr. Hightower, I have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishments. Mr. Hightower, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
This document is also labeled as State's Exhibit Number 1. On page 2 of this document, there's a set of initials that's on a line next to a box that's checked nolo contendere, which means no contest.
Yes, sir.
Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 3 of this same document, Mr. Hightower, there's a signature above the line that is titled Defendant. Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
On the next document, which is titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature above the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes, sir.
There are two boxes that are checked at the top of this document. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right to appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The second box states that you're waiving your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Hightower, I also have before me. What's this here? I don't need all of this. Is that yours? Yes. Mr. Hightower, I also have before me a document that is titled Discovery Certification. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant
Yes,
Signature?
sir.
Mr. Hightower, before you signed and initialed all of these documents that I have just mentioned to you, did your attorney go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hightower, are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me, States Exhibit number 1, the misdemeanor plea admonishment, and States Exhibit number 2, the probable cause affidavit, which is in the court's file. State, you like to offer States 1 and 2?
Yes, sir. State offer states 1 and 2.
Any objections?
No objection.
No objection. States Exhibits 1 and 2 are admitted. Mr. Dowd, you've advised and counseled Mr. Hightower. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, sir.
Mr. Hightower, your attorney, Mr. Dowden, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hightower, I will accept your plea of no contest. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
In exchange for the defendant's plea of no contest in this case, the states recommend the confinement in the Jefferson County Jail for a period of 180 days. However, we're asking the court suspend the imposition of that jail sentence and place the defendant on community supervision for a period of 12 months. Order that he pay $1,000 fine, perform 50 hours community service restitution. In addition to the standard conditions of probation, that he also participate in DWI education, drug and alcohol evaluation, and that he also install an interlock device on any vehicle he owns or operates.
That is our.
Okay. Mr. Hightower, the state is offering that you serve 180 days in jail, but you will not have to serve any time in jail on this case because you will be placed on probation for 12 months. During the 12-month probationary period, you will be required to pay a fine of $1,000 plus court costs of $417, which comes to a total fine and court costs of $1,417. You will also be required to pay a probation fee of $60 each month, a urinalysis fee of $15 each month. You will be required to pay Jefferson County DWI education class and initial evaluation fee of $125 on the day of the plea. Should a further evaluation be needed, you'll be required to pay an additional $50. Your total monthly installments, that is the total amount that you will be required to pay each month while you are on probation, is $205 a month. Will you be able to pay the $205 each month?
Yes, sir.
You will also be required to perform 50 hours of community service. You'll be required to attend and complete a DWI education class and have a drug and have an alcohol assessment. You'll also be required to install a DWI interlock device on any vehicle that you own or operate. You'll also be required to adhere to the standard terms and conditions of this probation. Mr. Hightower, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hightower, I will follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Hightower, you're going to stand on the X next to your attorney and you'll follow the directions of our clerk. Once you finish following her directions, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. And Mr. Dowden, once you sign the paperwork, you'll be free to go as well. And you also have a blessed day.
Thank you, Judge. You as well.
You are. Thank you.
Hey, take a picture.
Thank you.
Yes.
Place your right thumb in the blue square.
Court is in session at cause number 329330. Case of Solid State of Texas versus Ryan L. Foster, Ryan Lee Foster. Mr. Bailey, would you please call the name of Ryan Foster at the courthouse door?
She's right in that you did complete paperwork on 5/40. Is there any name? No response, Your Honor.
Okay. Ryan Foster's name was just called by the court's bailiff at the courthouse door. Ryan Foster did not answer. Ryan Foster's name was also called at or about 9 a.m. At the courthouse door by the court's bailiff. And Mr. Foster did not answer. The time now is 9:44 a.m. on today's date. Mr. Foster has not appeared in court since the court's been in session. Mr. Foster's attorney, Mr. Nathan Reynolds, is present in court. And Mr. Reynolds previously announced to the court that he received some information that Mr. Foster is in Jasper County Jail. Is that correct?
That's correct, Judge.
Okay, so at this time, the court, Mr. Foster is not here. State, do you have a motion?
Yes, yes, state moves about motion.
Okay, that motion will be granted. Ryan Foster's name, Ryan Foster's bond will be forfeited, warrant will be issued for his arrest and cause number 329330. And the court is going to hold up on that bond forfeiture going through pending confirmation from Mr. Nathan Reynolds regarding Mr. Foster being in custody in Jasper County, and the court give Mr. Reynolds until 4 p.m. to give confirmation of that information.
I'll do that, Judge.
All right, Mr. Reynolds, this is your only case?
Yeah, I had a Zachary Skeets, but.
Yes.
That was a point, but I
That's on here too.
got a letter from Mr. Rennick's law firm that he was representing him, but I still showed up on the court docket.
Okay. He hadn't, so we look at that case. It's the last page of the announcement docket, page 4. The last person, Zachary Ryan Skeets. I see Rennick, Attorney Rennick is attorney of record in the felony. Do we have a letter of representation or a motion to substitute in the misdemeanor?
No, he doesn't have to give you follow a motion to serve. You just follow a letter of rep.
This is, I got a copy.
Yeah, it's a letter of rep.
It's
He has
addressed to
follow
you.
a motion to serve.
Yeah, but it wasn't a motion to
Oh, no
sell.
motion. Okay.
Yeah, okay, so what we're gonna do, oh, wow. What, let me ask you this here. Is there any way we can contact Mr. Rennick?
I'm gonna call his office and let him know that they need to follow a motion to serve.
Yeah, but his client is not here. We need to get that. He can appear by telephone or Zoom. And what we'll do, once we talk to Mr. Rennick, his client, the client makes an appearance. We can set it on the same day of the, of the felony. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute.
Yes, yes, ma'am. I have him on Zoom now, and I think Judge Holmes can see.
Court is in session and calls number 322-936, case of style of state of Texas versus Cameron Austin Hernandez. Mr. Hernandez, would you please come forward? Were you outside?
Yeah, he's right outside.
This is cause number 322-936, case of style of state of Texas versus Cameron Austin Hernandez. Mr. Hernandez, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Mr. Hernandez? I'm doing fine. Mr. Hernandez, you're here represented by your attorney, Attorney John Macy. And Attorney Macy, how are you doing?
I'm fine, Your Honor, thanks.
Mr. Macy, what is your announcement in Mr. Hernandez's case?
Your Honor, we'd ask that the case be reset with his same date as his pending felony case.
Okay, that's September 29th.
Yes.
Okay.
State Farm Court.
Okay, Mr. Hernandez, your case is gonna be reset with your felony case September 29th. Your attorney is gonna sign for your reset. Once you get your reset from your attorney, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. Mr. Macy, is this your last case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Once you sign for the reset, you'll be free to go as well and you have a blessed day.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Jefferson County Court at Law number 2 is back in session with 4 cases. First case is cause number 328-154. Second case is cause number 329-548. Third case is cause number 329-766. And the fourth case is cause number 332046. All 4 cases are styled the state of Texas versus Markel Jermaine Freelo.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Freelo, how are you doing?
Doing all right today. How about you?
I'm doing fine, thanks for asking. Mr. Freelo, you're here represented by your attorney, Attorney Kevin Lane. Attorney Lane, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
And the state is represented by Attorney Tommy Coleman. Attorney Coleman, how are you doing?
Good, Your Honor.
Mr. Freelo, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Freelo, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Freelo, you may put your hand down. Mr. Freelo, you're here, again, you're represented by your attorney, Attorney Kevin Lane. Attorney Lane, do you waive a record in Mr. Freelo's cases?
In all of them, Your Honor. Yes.
Mr. Freelo, I have before me in cause number 329-548, an information that has been filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. This information alleges that on or about January 9th of 2021, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of unlawfully carrying a weapon while engaging in criminal activity. Mr. Freelo, do you understand what you have been charged with? And to this charge, Mr. Freelo, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
Now, are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Freelo, I have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishments. Mr. Freelo, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 2 of this same document, Mr. Freelo, there are 2 sets of initials. One set, I think, is your attorney's initials, KL, and the other set, Mr. Freelo, are these your initials?
Yes, sir.
Now, these initials are next to a box that says check guilty. On the next page of the same document, there's a signature above the line that's titled defendant. Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
On the next document, which is titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, Mr. Freelo, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
Yes, sir.
At the top of the same document, there are 2 boxes that check. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that? And Mr. Freelo, I also have before me a document that is titled Discovery Certification. Mr. Freelo, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Freelo, before you sign and initial all of these documents that I've just mentioned to you, did your attorney, Mr. Lane, go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge? Mr. Freelo, are you a citizen of the United States? You have to speak up.
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1, the misdemeanor plea admonishment. State, you like to offer State's 1?
Yes, Judge. State offer states 1.
Any objections?
No objection, Your Honor.
No objection. State's Exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Lane, you've advised and counseled Mr. Freelo. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Your Honor.
And Mr. Freelo, your attorney, Mr. Lane, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation? Mr. Freelo, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Okay, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
In exchange for the defendant's plea, in this case, Judge, the state's recommended confinement in the Jefferson County Jail for a period of 30 days, and we are asking the court to give the defendant credit for any time he's legally entitled to.
Okay, and that jail time is to begin
Today, Your Honor.
today. And see here, is this case running concurrent with another case?
Yes, Your Honor. This case is running concurrent with the possession of a controlled substance case appearing in cause number 329-766.
Okay. And in the other two cases,
They will be dismissed as part of the plea in this case, Judge. Those cases being the possession of a dangerous drug appearing in cause number 328154 and the dangerous drug possession case appearing in cause number 332064.
okay. Okay, and the weapon is being forfeited in this case as well.
Yeah, that's correct, Judge.
Now, Mr. Freelo, I have before me a document that is titled Motion to Forfeit. Mr. Freelo, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature above the line that is titled Defendant?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Freelo, before you signed and initialed this motion to forfeit the weapon, did your attorney go over this document with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in this document?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in this document true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Freelo, the court is going to grant this motion to forfeit the weapon, in this case, to the Beaumont Police Department. And Mr. Freelo, the state is offering that you serve. Do they have
He
that?
doesn't have
Okay.
any of his statements.
Okay, Mr. Freelo, the state is going to, well, the state is offering that you serve 30 days in the Jefferson County Jail. You will be given credit for any time that you are entitled to get by law. Now, that jail time is to start today. The court cost in this case is $292. Mr. Freelo, will you be able to pay the $292?
Yes, sir.
You will?
I was out of work for like a month, so I just started back walking, so, I just started back walking, like beginning of the month, stop going to therapy, and I just go once a month now, so I ain't started back working yet, but I'll try,
Okay, well,
I'll try what I can do.
Mr. Coleman,
Yes,
could you
sir.
give me one of those affidavits of insurance that's
Yes, sir.
on the,
You want me to give to you or to?
to
the
me,
defendant?
to me, I'm asking the question. Well, let me do this here. Mr. Lane, have your client to, y'all can just fill that out. Just take a few minutes. So what we do, we'll be in a little recess right now, give him time to fill it out.
but because some discovery's still missing, he's gonna be reset.
So Avalos, as cause number 32A. Won't you get Avalos in here right quick? And, his other client, which is that Mr. Morales. Ramses Morales.
You want both of them?
Yes, yes. Now, okay, we'll let you make your announcement on.
Gonzalez, is it just a matter of making the record? How far are we on this?
He wants non-DWI.
To make this case right?
He looks really good on me.
Okay, this is cause numbers 328-468, cause number 331-226. Both cases of style of state of Texas versus Esteban Avalos Jr. Mr. Avalos, is that your full name? Mr. Avalos, you're here represented by your attorney, Attorney Dustin Galmore. Attorney Galmore, how are you doing?
Great, Judge, how you doing?
And Mr. Avalos, how are you doing? I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. And Mr. Galmore, what's your announcement in Mr. Avalos' case?
Judge, we're just wanting to keep this with a felony. His felony was scheduled for this afternoon, but it's already being reset. I just don't have the new date.
Okay, what we'll do, our court coordinator will monitor the case. Once she gets a date, we'll put it on the same day, then we'll send you and the bondsman notice of his reset.
Thank you, Judge.
Mr. Avalos, stay in contact with your attorney. Your case is gonna be reset. Also stay in contact with your bondsman. Your cases will be reset. You're free to go and you have a blessed day.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay. Ramses Morales? Is that Morales?
It's not, it's Mr. Gonzalez.
Oh,
Moses is from.
Not 22 people. How many times do you see that?
You know, I've been seeing.
okay. This is cause number 325-296, case of style of state of Texas versus Jorge Gonzalez. Okay, how you doing, Mr. Gonzalez? I'm doing fine. Mr. Gonzalez, you're here represented by your attorney, Mr. Galmore. Mr. Galmore, what's your announcement, and Mr.
That's for another trial setting.
Okay, give us a,
October 31st.
okay, October 31st. Okay, Mr. Gonzalez, your attorney's gonna sign for your reset. Once you get your reset from your attorney, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Oh, you're welcome. You have a blessed day. You have a blessed day as well, Mr. Galmore. Jefferson County Code of Law number 2 is back in session and cause number 329-548. Case is style the state of Texas versus Markel Jermaine Freelo. Mr. Freelo, as president of court, Mr. Freelo previously was sworn in, and Mr. Freelo entered or plead guilty to the Class A misdemeanor offense of unlawfully carrying a weapon while engaging in criminal activity. Mr. Freelo acknowledged that his plea was freely and voluntarily given. Mr. Freelo also acknowledged that he's pleading guilty because he is guilty. Mr. Freelo acknowledged that states Exhibit number 1, the misdemeanor plea admonishment, that was his initials and signature. He also acknowledged that the trial court certification, the defendant's right of appeal, that he did sign that document as well. And he also acknowledged that his signature was on the discovery certification. And he also acknowledged that his signature was on the motion to forfeit the weapon, in this case, to the Beaumont Police Department. Mr. Freelo acknowledged that his attorney went over those documents with him, that he read and understood everything in those documents, and everything in those documents on these documents is true and correct to the best of his knowledge. Now, the state has offered Mr. Freelo 30 days in jail, and this case will run concurrent with 329-548, and the state will be dismissing cause numbers 328-154 and cause number 332-046, and that this jail time will begin today. The court asked Mr. Freelo if he was able to pay the court costs in this case of $292. Mr. Freelo actually informed the court that he wasn't working. And so the court asked Mr. Freelo to give the court some financial information on this affidavit of indigence. Now, Mr. Freelo, do you recognize this document is titled Affidavit of Indigence?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Freelo, is this your signature on the line that is titled Defendant?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Freelo, prior to signing and initialing this document, did your attorney go over this document with you? And did you read and understand everything in this document?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in this document true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Freelo, the court has read the affidavit of indigence, the information that is provided in this affidavit of indigence, and based on this information that you have provided to the court will find that you are indigent, and based on that finding, Mr. Freelo, the court costs in this case of $292 will be waived. That simply means that you will not have to pay it because the court is finding that you're indigent. So this court cost will be waived pursuant to Article 42.15 of the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure. Now, Mr. Freelo, again, the state is offering that you serve 30 days in Jefferson County Jail. You'll be given credit for any time that you're entitled to get by law. The court cost of $292 will be waived pursuant to Article 42.15 Texas Code of Criminal Procedure. This case will run concurrent with cause number 329-766, and the following cases, cause numbers 328-154 and cause number 332-046 will be dismissed, and the weapon in this case will be forfeited to the it will be forfeited to the Beaumont Police Department, and your jail time will begin today. Mr. Freelo, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just? And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Freelo, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Freelo, we will move on to your next case. And your next case, Mr. Freelo, is cause number 329-766. And Mr. Freelo, in this case, cause number 329-766, I have before me a document that is titled information. This information alleges Mr. Okay, this document alleges that, hold on a minute. Okay, Mr. Freelo, this document, the information alleges that on or about January 9th of 2021, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of possession of a controlled substance. Mr. Freelo, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to discharge Mr. Freelo, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
Now, are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily? And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Freelo, I have before me a document that is titled misdemeanor plea admonishments. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 2 of the same document, Mr. Freelo, I have before me 2 sets of initials. One set of initials is your attorney, initials is KSL, and the next set of initials next to the box says check guilty. Are these your initials?
Yes, sir.
And on the next page of this document, there's a signature above the line that is titled defendant. Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
And on the next document, which is titled trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal, Mr. Freelo, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature above the line that's titled defendant? There are 2 boxes that's checked at the top of this document. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that? The second box states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that? And Mr. Freelo, I also have before me a document that is titled Discovery Certification. Mr. Freelo, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
Mhm.
And now, Mr. Freelo, before you signed and initialed all of these documents that I just mentioned to you, did your attorney, Mr. Lane, go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. State, do we have I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, you like to offer State's 1?
Yes, Judge, state operative states one.
Any objections?
No objection.
No objection. State's Exhibit number 1 will be admitted. And Mr. Lane, you advising counsel, Mr. Freelo, in this case as well. Is there any evidence that he's currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, yes.
And Mr. Freelo, your attorney, Mr. Lane, has advised and counseled you in this case. Are you satisfied with his representation in this case?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided fully effective and competent legal representation? Okay, Mr. Freelo, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. And State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor, we do.
And what is the agreement in this case?
In exchange for the defendant's plea in this case, Judge, we recommend confinement in the Jefferson County Jail for a period of 30 days to run concurrent with case number 3295448, the unlawful carrying of a weapon. We're asking that the court give the defendant or order that he be given credit for any time he's legally entitled.
Okay, Mr. Freelo, the state is offering that you serve 30 days in Jefferson County Jail. You will be given credit for any time that you are entitled to get by law. The court cost in this case is $337, but you would not have to pay the $337 because as in the previous case, the court found that you were injured. The court is also finding that you're injured in this case. So the court cost in this case will be waived pursuant to Article 42.15 of the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure. Your jail time will begin today, and this case will run concurrent with cause number 3295548 and cause numbers 328154 and cause number 332064 will be dismissed. Mr. Freelo, do you understand the state's offer and adjustments that the court has made with the finding of you being indigent?
Yes, sir.
And do you think it's fair and just? And do you accept it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Freelo, the court is going to follow the plea bargaining agreement with the findings of you being indigent. And Mr. Freelo, this will conclude your cases. You're gonna stand on the X. You're gonna sign the paperwork, follow the instructions of our court clerk. Now, once you finish following her directions, he's going straight into custody.
Yes, sir.
He's gonna be taken into custody. All right.